So the second season of Emily in Paris is just pure bubblegum enjoyment, and you can't help but have a massive smile on your face as you're watching throughout. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So in this video, we are going to be reviewing the second season of Emily in Paris, which literally just dropped on Netflix, and it is absolutely awesome. If you enjoyed season 1, you're absolutely going to love season 2, as it is even more escapist and really does develop its characters even more so than we saw in season 1, and it puts them in even more uncomfortable situations, and it is really gripping, and they even travel to even more glamorous and exotic locations, which is absolutely brilliant. And I'm just really hopeful that we get that season 3 renewal announcement very soon. But as far as season 2 is concerned, we are going to be breaking it all down for you in this TV series review. So the big storyline in this season, which continued really well since the end of the first season, was the love triangle between Emily, Gabriel and Camille, and they just exploded it in such a dramatic and brilliant and gripping way, with the Camille character discovering the truth by seeing Gabriel's frying pan in Emily's apartment and then just exploding it and having such a brilliant reaction when she was giving a toast in front of everyone at Emily's birthday party, and then just throwing the wine glass and then just walking off. I just thought it was such a dramatic way to explode it. And also, I feel like even before this even happened, they had one pan shot where they were just going through all of the different characters, having different conversations, and I just feel like doing it in one shot just looked absolutely magnificent. And I just feel like all of these characters are so brilliantly developed in their own right, and then when they just exploded it for that relationship, it was just so good. I feel like the Camille character after this was really manipulative in how she was trying to ensure that Emily doesn't get back together with the Gabriel character. However, you can understand it, as she has been together with Gabriel for quite a few number of years. It's just really sad that after what Emily did at the end of the first season in terms of sleeping with the Gabriel character, this friendship and triangle friendship will never be the same again. I absolutely loved it how they brought Madeleine in towards the end of this second season, as obviously in the first episode of the first season, she was Emily's boss who wasn't able to take this position. And I feel like when she did come in, not only could you see the massive cultural differences, but you could also see what it's like when an American headquarter-based company from a global perspective is coming to another country where they have local territory-based brands. You can just see how out of touch the mother company from a headquarter perspective is, except this time all of the cultural differences were even more magnified than when Emily first came in, as you could really see the differences. So for example, with Emily, she was able to customize and adapt to the French way of doing things. I mean, of course, there is still a bit of a difference between Emily's style and the French style, but you know, she has done a really good job to integrate into the society. However, Madeleine is doing it from such a different point of view, as firstly, she has a massive ego, she has so much more power than Emily did, and is really trying to enforce this, and is just really not working in terms of the people not accepting it and really getting irritated by it, and also is just not the way of working in Paris versus how it is working in America. So I just feel like that Madeleine storyline was absolutely wicked. I feel like they gave the Mindy character so much more to do this season, so much more singing happening this season as well compared to the first season, and also she is trying to explore a bit of a music career after she had an absolute disaster on the Chinese pop idol. And they also explored a bit of a romantic storyline with the Mindy character as well. Speaking of new romances, I could not get behind Alfie and Emily at all. It just felt so forced, and the two of them just had zero chemistry. And when you compared it to Emily and Gabriel, it really was just light and day. But you know, all in all, I feel like the storylines are so much more enjoyable this season. And like I said, they continued the threads from the first season so brilliantly. And this season definitely had the 4 E's. So it was super escapist, super enjoyable, really exciting, and really endearing as well. And I loved how every single episode had something interesting from a business point of view in terms of what Savoy are working on, and all of that marketing material, all of the presentations, all of the ideas, all of the pitches were really great. And also every single episode had a lot of romantic stuff happening for all of the lead characters. I do think in the next season, hopefully when we do get a season 3 announcement, that they really push all of these aspects even further. But you know, that being said, from a season 2 storyline point of view, I thought they were absolutely wonderful. So from a cast and characters point of view, the second season of Emily in Paris is absolutely brilliant. So let's go through them one by one. So first up, of course, we have Lily Collins leading the way in this TV show, and just like in the first season, she does such a good job. In the second season, she's still very confident, very cheery, and really chipper as well. And I just love that she's so refreshingly optimistic. And like I said, she just carries this show so well. Still involved in loads of different love triangles, loads of friendship issues with her and Camille, while still balancing trying to be really successful in her job, which she is really talented in actually. And from a marketing point of view, like I said before, all of the creativity and the social media stuff that she's doing is just so great. Speaking of social media, you still get to see her developing her Emily in Paris Instagram account. So I feel like it's also quite inspiring of how to get social media advice and inspiration for your own self as well, which I think is absolutely wicked. We also have Philippine Leroy-Beaulieu returning as the Sylvie character, the leader in Savoir, and she is a little bit lighter on Emily this season, as obviously Emily has proven herself with all of her achievements and accomplishments in the first season. And this time, the Sylvie character is really focused on her own romantic storyline, this time dating someone a little bit younger. And towards the end of this season, we also see her conflict with the Madeleine character. And I absolutely loved that power struggle in terms of somebody who's a real leader from a Paris local point of view, now having someone from the headquarters of the mother company coming in, and just seeing that conflict and how Sylvie reacted to this towards the end of this season, I thought was absolutely brilliant. We also have Ashley Park, who, like I said, is returning as the Mindy character, this time similarly to Sylvie, having her own storylines. Obviously, she is still haunted by the past, by being a billionaire's daughter from China, and also being a bit of a viral internet sensation for something that she is not that proud of, which is where she messed up on a Chinese pop idol contest. And like I said, this time she explores a bit of a romantic storyline with new characters, and also re-exploring her musical passions as well, which is really great. We also have Lucas Bravo, who is absolutely wicked as the Gabriel character. Like I said, a lot of stuff happening from a love triangle point of view. And this guy is just so smooth and is able to be really calm in absolutely chaotic situations, which I think is really great. And also from a business career point of view, he now has investment to buy and create his own restaurant. And I absolutely loved all of the business aspects from this point of view as well. For example, Gabriel having a really specific vision for how he wants his restaurant to be. However, his investor wants to create something different, and then just seeing the conflict and then seeing how these two guys are going to resolve this, I thought was really fascinating. We also have Camille Razat, who is also playing a character called Camille. Like I said, she's a little bit more manipulative this season than the first season, but of course you can understand it as she is totally heartbroken. And on that point, you don't see this character as much as you did in the first season, but like I said, she definitely is a thorn in the way of Emily and with Gabriel. We also have William Abadie, who is playing Antoine, the luxury perfume owner, and the one who was having an affair with the Sylvie character, and he is also the investor in Gabriel's restaurant. I love how they're linking all of the storylines with all of the different characters. I feel like this guy didn't have as much to do from a storyline point of view, and definitely was a secondary character in other people's storylines, but I feel like he really is a bit of a smooth operator as well. We also have Pierre Cardot, who is the luxury eccentric fashion designer, and I feel like this guy, by contrast, had a lot more screen time and a lot more storyline focus than in the last season, getting a lot of characters involved in his campaigns and in his rivalry with his own fashion designer competitor, and then seeing what's going to happen when the Madeleine character is involved as well. I thought that was really interesting. We also have Lucien Laviscount, who was a fine actor, but like I said, I thought there was zero chemistry between him and Emily. And like he kept saying himself as a character, he's just a bit of a boring banker. And I just feel like those attributes, unfortunately, these attributes really were coming across from this character's portrayal. But bar one, I feel like all of the other casting characters are really brilliant in this show. So from a visuals point of view, this show really is able to come into its own in this category. I mean, just being set in Paris alone is just absolutely incredible. Paris itself does feel like a bit of its own character at points, and just the backdrop of everything that happens in this city just looks absolutely incredible. And then to top all of that off, at the start of this season, they go to Saint-Tropez, and all of the scenes over there are even more extravagant. And I hope that we get to see a little bit more traveling across France in the next season, as both of these locations really do come into their own. I mean, from a fashion point of view, everything looks really impressive as well. Of course, that's a really big aspect of this show, and of course is from Darren Star and all of his TV shows. fashion is a really big aspect, and I feel like all of that comes across really, really well. And all of the different characters really do have their own unique style and personality coming across through all of the fashion, all of the marketing shoots that you get to see with all of the different products and all of the different brands that Savoir are being able to create look absolutely outstanding. And also even just the use of mobile phone technology in terms of how all of the messages pop up on screen, how people are uploading images to Instagram, everything just looks so brilliant from a visuals point of view in Emily in Paris. So from a comparison point of view, like I said, this show also comes from Darren Star, who has also created Sex and the City and Beverly Hills 90210. This show definitely is different to them, but you can see similarities with all three of these shows as well. I also feel like it is similar a little bit to Only Murders in the Building, especially from a tonal point of view, and all of the scenes that you see with Emily in her apartment block, but of course, there's no murder mystery happening in this TV show. In terms of comparing it to other TV shows, I don't think this TV show is as good as the Dynasty reboot, but I would say it's a lot better and a lot stronger than the Gossip Girl reboot, and so from a comparison point of view, I feel like this show is really strong. So overall, I really enjoyed the second season of Emily in Paris. They continued everything from the first season so brilliantly. I'm really glad that they brought everyone back. All of the scenes with loads of characters in them did look really impressive, especially the fact that they were able to film this whole season during COVID while still having really glamorous parties and really big events. I feel like, you know, from a filming point of view, what they were able to achieve with this season was really good. I'm really glad that they were able to develop all of the different characters, give them really interesting new storylines, and I feel like they had such a big cliffhanger at the end of this season. Hopefully when we do get season 3, we'll get to see a completely different shift and a new dynamic change happening in the third season, which I literally cannot wait for. But as far as the second season is concerned, it gets a massive 7.5 out of 10 from me. Now I'd love to hear from you, so please let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.